Hey, what's going on, everybody? Emperor Fiction. Whew. Finally, finally, some new Bleach. Finally, some new Bleach. Ah, man. Took long enough, but it's finally here. Bleach chapter 523. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool read. I'm not really gonna do so much a review as much as I am a discussion. It's like I'm gonna do more of a discussion than a review, because for those of you watching this, you probably already read the Bleach chapter. If not, then there are reviews. There are reviews you can find, in my subscriptions and stuff like that. So, but basically, let's just jump to discussion. So, the whole thing with Oetsu and how he quote unquote creates the Zanpakuto. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool, because back in the day, like when I would go through Shonen Jump magazine and when I would watch the Bleach anime on Adult Swim, I always just thought that those guys are just whatever. Like when I would see them with like the normal base Zanpakuto, the Asachi. I can't think of how to pronounce it right, but when I basically saw those guys with that, I was like, oh, these guys are fodder, they're whatever. I like a lot of other people, I thought that your the Shikai state for your Zanpakuto, I thought you just that comes Zanpakuto. But I mean, I guess that's not the case. It's really I guess it really is just the Asachi is like a mold of clay, and your soul is like the fingers. So you're pretty much taking your fingers and molding the clay into what you want it, into what you want it to be. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Like when I read that in this week's Bleach, I instantly thought of my 7th grade year in middle school, going through art class, and we had to make clay molds all the time. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm trying to think, because if that's the case, then is it possible that Ichigo and Renji might end up with the same kind of Zanpakuto that they had beforehand? I mean, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that'll work. How will they pass this method of training? I don't know. I'm not too sure on how they'll pass it. Will it be they defeat all the Yasauchi, and then they take some of their Reiatsu and put it on one, and they put it on one of the Yasauchi, and then it becomes their Zanpakuto. It becomes their little Zanpakuto. Is that how that works? I'm not sure, but it's pretty much that. And the whole thing with this week I was kind of sad because we didn't see any Byakuya, Rukia, or Grimmjow, but we'll see that later on in the future. It was whatever. We'll see that later on in the future. So we'll get to that later on. And for this, and another thing I want to talk about was the second portion of the chapter, the whole Kenpachi and Unohana thing. Oh my god, that was really intense. That was really intense. Unohana's demeanor throughout this whole chapter was really, oh man, you could feel the sense of danger radiating around her character. It was really abstract. It caught me off guard, but I loved it. I loved every second of it. And it made me kind of sad when Shunsui, basically stated in the end that one of them will die at the end of this battle. It makes me kind of sad, because both of these characters, I'm really interested in both of these characters. Both of these characters have been really interesting to me throughout the entire series of Bleach. So one of them dying will be fairly sad for me. Now I'm going to talk about two things within the second portion of this week's chapter. I'm going to talk about how it'll play out. How do you, well, okay, before I do, in the section below in the comments, Give me your thoughts on the Bleach chapter for this week. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was it satisfying? How do you think things are gonna play out in the future? But pretty much, I'm not too sure as to who's gonna win this battle. Like, for me, I think it's fairly anyone's game. I think it's anyone's game right now. So I'm not really gonna call too sure, but I feel like I can call how it would happen though. Like, okay, if Unohana wins, then the way the fight will play out will probably be Kenpachi dominating a majority of the fight because of his Reiatsu. Him dominating the majority of the fight, and then Unohana trying to use her Shikai to heal some of her wounds, but then Kenpachi smashes the Shikai, so she has to use her Bankai, and her Bankai's ability might do some crap like it might take all of the injuries that she's succumbed to by Kenpachi and put them on him, and then she pretty much one-shots him with her Bankai. Or if Kenpachi wins, we might actually see a Bankai state for Kenpachi's Zanpakuto. We might actually see that. If we do, I don't know how I would feel about that. I'd be fairly sad if Kubo actually pulled out the Zaraki Bankai state for his character, because I've always thought that Kenpachi Zaraki, he's such a unique character. The fact that he's so strong, he's so godforsakingly strong, and his Zanpakuto is only in its Shikai state. That makes his character very unique, in my opinion. It makes him very unique. But if we see a Bankai state for him, if Kenpachi wins this fight, we might see a Bankai state for Kenpachi, which would be pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. So, but the way it will play out will probably be the fight being evenly matched mostly throughout. Unohana using her Bankai, appearing to one-shot Kenpachi, but then Kenpachi does some extra stuff with his Reiatsu, or he's basically at Kenpachi will probably be at near death, and then he'll finally learn the name of his Zanpakuto, and then go Bankai. So that's pretty much how I see it. It's right now, I'm not calling it yet. I'm not calling the fight yet. But right now, I really think it's fairly. I think it's fair game. I think it's anyone's game right now. So, because on one side, Kenpachi's great, but Unohana has a lot of experience, and on the other side, Unohana has a lot of experience, but Kenpachi can kind of be an enigma. He's an enigma in terms of battle. So I don't know how it's gonna play out. Like I said earlier, give me your thoughts on this week's chapter of Bleach, what you think is gonna happen in the future, and hopefully Bleach goes nowhere but up. I'm hoping Bleach goes nowhere but up. I have high hopes for how this series is going to play out in the future. So that's pretty much it. Emperor Fiction, and I'll see you guys later.